Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and this is the Tech News Update. We are Friday, August the 24th, 2018, and today in our Tech News Update, we have, of course, a slowing build that appeared yesterday on the Windows Insider program. So if you are on slowing, build 17738 was released yesterday, and what good news that also brings is the fact that there will be images of these builds available for download, or ISOs. These will be available next week. Donna Sarkar had promised that sometime next week they're going to be available. So if you got some problems with your Windows Insider builds, or if you can't upgrade, well, you'll have one build, kind of, even though it's a little behind, you'll have one build that is recent enough that you might want to clean install with, for sure. Well, self-driving cars are moving full speed ahead, and more of them are on the road, but there's a little thing that we're wondering. Why isn't there, and why is the deployment of self-driving trucks so slow? Well, it seems it has to do with security and also the liability of whatever happens if there's a crash or something happens with the self-driving trucks. That is the other question. So they're wondering exactly what's going to happen with that, and a lot of the regulations and the laws, the legal side, is not really updated. I mean, all the laws are there for people that drive a car or a truck, not for trucks or cars that are on the road. But of course, the liability if something happens on a truck is even bigger than what would happen with a car. So apparently it's actually keeping companies a little far from having self-driving trucks, but I believe this will eventually be something that will be pushed aside, and we'll have them on the roads. A different kind of electrolyte is apparently being looked at that would prevent lithium-ion batteries from actually catching fire or exploding, and they use a very common item that a lot of people, and most people have in their home, cornstarch. Apparently, if the electrolyte is mixed with a cornstarch type variant, it actually prevents the battery from actually catching fire, and that even though it short circuits, it comes hot and everything, apparently it just doesn't explode or catch fire when you add it with a little cornstarch. So maybe these will come soon, and we'll be able to have better batteries that are less dangerous. The Mirai botnet is in the news from time to time, and it's still active. Mirai botnet is that code, that basically that malware that actually infects Internet of Things devices, and basically it is mostly looking at Internet of Things devices that are built around Linux. Now, it's back in the news because there's a very unique version of Linux that some Internet of Things devices are using, that the new variant of the Mirai botnet is actually targeting. And of course, it's kind of scary because the more Internet of Things devices, the more devices out there are infected, the bigger the probability of some major event happening on the internet. Well, kind of interesting. Smartphones have been around for some time. Although a lot of people use them, the biggest users of smartphones are teens and young adults. And a survey shows that they are actually very aware that they could be hooked to these devices. In that survey, 54% of teens and young adults surveyed said that they were aware they were addicted to their devices, and that they knew that there was something they needed to do about it. So it means, we're all looking at them on their phones and just, looking at the screens all the time. Well, it seems that they know they might have a problem. Microsoft Hungary is in a possible scandal of corruption and bribery. It seems that it would sell some software at lower prices for some and higher at the government, and try to kind of have a bribery scam or some kind of scam going on there. So, of course, that infringes on the U.S. corruption rules with what's happening overseas, and now the U.S. government is actually investigating all of this. So, just shows that it's really not a good idea to try to do bad things. If you're a T-Mobile customer, maybe just be careful. T-Mobile announced that on August 20th they were targeted by hackers and that 2 million accounts were breached. The information stolen: name, address, user account number, and type of account. But the good news, if you want, in there is that no financial details were actually leaked and your passwords were not stolen. But I would still change the password, because one of the biggest problems with these leaks and these hacks is that, they say something first and a month later you notice that it's worse than it was at the first moment you saw it. According to a survey, 77% of IT pros say that they expect their own businesses and that their own organizations to actually be hacked within the next year. But that is not what worries them, because they say that if they can deploy and do things correctly, there's no problem. What worries them is that they don't have the resource to deal with it. And that is the biggest problem. The aftermath of a hack is more complicated than we think. So, interesting survey here. And Amazon is paying some employees to go on Twitter. Apparently it took some of its employees in warehouses and put them on computers, paying them to defend the company amid criticism on Twitter. So it wants to defend its image, and does so by using staff and having staff talk positively about whatever people are ranting about. And this was the Tech News Update for Friday, August the 24th, 2018. You enjoy our videos? Please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.